Hi, this is Jody from Earth Sky Journeys and Kelly from Kelly's Astrology. And this is a first video in our Birth Chart Basics series. And we're going to talk about the Ascendant and Ascendant Ruler today.
Cool.
What would you like to say, Kelly? I'll throw it over to you.
I guess, the Ascendant, or also known as the rising sign, so two terms that are interchangeable. If you're new to astrology, you might not even know that you have such a thing as an Ascendant. Basically, the Ascendant or the rising sign is the zodiac sign that was on the eastern horizon at the location of your birth at the time that you were born. Now, to the ancient astrologers, this sign was actually the most important sign in your birth chart. It was more important than your sun sign and more important than your moon sign. So finding out this ascendant sign is critical to beginning to understand yourself through astrology. And this sign will have a particular planet, like a patron planet or a ruling planet. And the ruling planet of your ascendant sign becomes one of your most important planets in the chart. What do you think, Jo?
Yeah, the ascendant sign, I would say, is the flag that you're flying in this lifetime. It's often an energy that people will see that you present first, and even especially the ruling planet as well. And it's also said it might be the mask that you wear in this lifetime. But I've also heard it talked about. Maurice Fernandez, he's another really great astrologer. He said it's an energy that you are developing into. So it's not necessarily something you're comfortable with, but it's something you're learning to work with, is your ascendant.
For sure. And one way I often describe this to students is most people are familiar with or identify with their sun sign or their star sign, which is totally important. But if you think of the way the rising sign or the ascendant sign relate to the sun sign is if you think about an onion and you think about the layers of the onion and then the skin on the outside of the onion. Now, symbolically, we're saying that this onion is your soul or your psyche or the essence of who you are, or the layers of who you are. So the sun sign would be inside the onion. It would be an energy that is within you and is important or critical to who you are. But the outside layer, the skin of the onion, would be this ascendant sign. So that, as Jodie's saying, when you first meet people, they may not experience your sun sign right away. What they're going to pick up, or the vibration, if you like, the qualities that they will experience in the beginning, is that outer layer. Another way that a teacher described this to me years ago was, imagine if you're at a party and you're meeting people for the first time. You're often not going to be your true self, but you will be your ascendant self. So that is where that idea of it being the mask or the role that you might play, it's a sign that represents how you interact with others, especially in that initial or first meeting kind of space.
And it's also how you steer yourself. And so the planet that rules the ascendant would be who's at the helm, but you're being steered by this energy. So like Kelly said, you're at a party. What's steering you through that party is this ascendant sign versus your sun sign, which is something they say that you grow into.
For sure, for sure. So to find out your ascendant sign, you will need to get your birth chart calculated. There's a great free website, astro.com, where you can calculate all kinds of charts free. If you know an astrologer, you could certainly email them and ask for a copy of your chart. It will look a lot like hieroglyphics in the beginning, but you can email us if you wanted a copy of your chart, for sure. That would be no problem at all. And you would want to start really learning about this sign, because in addition to your sun sign, that rising sign or ascendant sign is so critical in terms of really describing who you are as a person. And then if you want to take it to that next level, get the ruling planet. So what we mean by that is if you might be a Gemini, you might have the sun in Gemini. So your star sign or sun sign is Gemini. But you might be born at the particular time of day that places Taurus as the rising or ascendant sign. So you'd want to learn about Taurus because astrologers would say you have a very strong Taurus streak within you. And then the ruling planet of Taurus is Venus. So Venus then becomes like that planet at the helm of the ship helping drive your whole life forward, really. And I guess that other point that just reminded me, the time of day, that your ascendant is calculated on the birth time. That's why the birth time is so important to create the whole chart. It's also part of what makes one Gemini, for instance, different from another. That on that, you can have 12 Geminis born on the same day, but if you're born a couple of hours after each other, you'll each have a different ascendant or rising sign. So you could be a Gemini with Taurus rising, or you could be a Gemini with Sagittarius rising, or you could be a Gemini with Capricorn rising. So there are basically 12 different combinations there that you could have. And it's pretty key to work out, isn't it?
Yeah, it really flavors someone's personality. So maybe they might have a lot of more introspective energy, like maybe they're a Scorpio sun, but then they have this Sagittarius ascendant, right? Rising, which makes them a really different energy. That's why it's maybe hard to figure out who they are, their sun sign, because they might be more presenting with their ascendant.
Totally. And I used to hate that when people would ask me early in my astrological career, well, can you pick my sign? Yeah. Are you good at guessing people's signs? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm useless. I'm very good at picking the ruling planet of your ascendant, for instance. Like, I'll be like, that person's got a very strong Venus signature, and it turns out they've got Libra rising. Definitely. Or I'll be like, they're so Sag, and they're like, I'm not a Sagittarius. Yeah. I'm like, okay, and then you look at their chart and they've got Sag rising. So it will be, this is the sign that will trick astrologers, but we kind of understand why, I guess. So,
but it's the first thing I look at in a chart. That's the first thing I look at, actually, is the ascendant sign. What's it saying about the person? How do they steer themselves through their life?
For sure. Yeah. Because it qualifies everything else. So that's the number one starting point.
Yay.
So go find out your rising sign and report back. Let us know how that made sense for you.
Thank you.